What's up, everybody? The NBA is back. Opening night was last night, and what a great couple of games, or at least from a storyline perspective. We're going to dive into a couple topics related to the second game, looking at the Lakers-Warriors matchup. First, looking at as how do you solve these problems with the Lakers, and what are they going to be this year? And then we'll look at the Warriors. Can they repeat? And what is that going to look like? But let's start off with the Lakers. Wow. Well, a couple things. I'll start on the positives. AD looked really good. He slimmed down. He looked athletic. He was dominant when he had the chance to be. He looked like he was back to his form from the 2020 bubble. He looked like he could be that guy again. And the Lakers, if they're going to do absolutely anything this year, they need AD to be a top 10, maybe a top 5 player to, to compete for a high seed, to even compete for a conference championship or even an NBA championship. AD's absolutely got to be incredible. The second, LeBron James, he put up his stats as always, near triple double. I think he had something like 33, 14, and 8. LeBron's going to get his stats. He controlled the game as much as he can with that team. So those guys looked good, and you know what you're getting out of those. So as long as AD is healthy, and those two look as good as they have together. But beyond that, uh, guys, this is a horrific Lakers roster. The 3 through 10 on this roster is absolutely atrocious, and that's no shots at Russell Westbrook, but I'm sorry, but Russ does not fit at all. When you have two guys that need the ball in their hand, like AD and LeBron as the leads on the team, and Russ, who really needs to have the ball in his hands to be remotely um, usable in a game, Russ off ball just does not work. And so this combination, I think it's an awful fit for Russ. And unfortunately for him, he's taking a lot of the flack really for the failures of this team. And I don't really think it's all on Russ. Russ is the Lakers traded for Russ with the understanding of who Russ is, and they're trying to make him something he's not. And expecting him to be successful in that situation is really tough. He's not an off-ball player. He's never been a great defensive player. And at year, what, 14, 15 in the league, to expect Russ to change and all of a sudden be a great defender, to be able to hit it down, knock down shots, to be more of a distributor than a scorer, that's just not practical. It's not going to happen. This guy is as stubborn as they come. He was successful in this league because of how hard he played and how he was just relentless and he was successful as a ball dominant player, and expecting him in year 15 to suddenly change the way he plays and to improve his shooting and play defense and be committed to defense. I just don't think it's realistic. And so these expectations that the Lakers seemingly put on him, I think was a huge mistake. Russ is never going to fill that, and he's not a good fit next to LeBron. Plain and simple. If LeBron is your best player, you need the ball in LeBron's hands, and you're not going to put it in Russ's hands when you have LeBron on your team. Simple as that. And when you can't shoot either, that doesn't help. He just doesn't fit. And then that brings me to, I mean, who really is the third best player on this team? Is it Russ? I mean, he's probably the best quote unquote talent player, but I mean, what does he give you that actually complements those other guys? Is it Lonnie Walker, who I think had all of 5 points last night and did not look aggressive whatsoever? I know he's still trying to learn the ropes a little bit. This team is bad, guys. I mean, they were playing Matt Ryan, who last I checked played quarterback for the Colts. Not, I had no idea who this guy was. No offense to him. It sounds like he went to 3 different colleges. Bounced around the league. I think he played a game for the Celtics last year or something, but he was playing real minutes for the Lakers and looked like the only player that knew how to hit a three-pointer. Between him and LeBron, I think they're the only ones that hit a three for the Lakers for a very long time. Kendrick Nunn, who the Heat kind of just completely discarded. Um, it played meaningful minutes and seems like he's going to be relied on to do a lot. This roster was constructed awfully. It was a mess. Um, you look down the roster and there's really no wing depth on this team at all. And if you think about all the stars in this league, especially in the Western Conference that play wing, start with Kawhi and PG, Brandon Ingram. You go on down the list. How are they going to guard a single one of those guys? I have absolutely no idea, guys. They have Juan Toscano Anderson, who I guess can guard a little bit, but if he's anything less than a zero on offense or anything more than a zero on offense, don't I don't see it. I mean, he can't score. He doesn't do anything, so is he even playable? Matt Ryan looked like a defensive sieve all night, and really don't have any wings outside of that. I mean, LeBron, you can ask LeBron to score 30, have 10 assists, and guard the best player on a given night. It's a mess, and I think it comes down to how do you solve that? I mean, what can you even do tangibly? And I think, unfortunately for Russ, the only solution here is to trade him and try and see if you package him with a couple pick the 27 and the 29 unprotected first. Can you get something back? I'm not expecting that they're going to get a huge difference maker, but they need a wing defender that they can throw out there. I mean, gosh, if they could somehow undo that Wizards trade, I mean, they gave up a couple of decent wing defenders and KCP and Kuzma and some players that could have actually been useful on this team. And Russ never fit when that trade first happened. He sure as heck doesn't fit now. And now that they have no wing depth, it makes it look even worse. I know that Buddy Hield, Miles Turner trade idea has been thrown around, but Buddy doesn't guard a lick either. Like, so it gets you solves a shooting problem maybe a little bit with a couple guys that can hit a three, but now you have nobody to defend. Not that Russ defended anyways. So I mean, what is the answer? If you're the Lakers, you just gotta hope that you can find some 3-and-D wing for cheap that will play some defense, and you can just throw a couple first round picks and get that wing. I mean, really practically, they need a couple wings. Maybe one of these teams that are tanking for Wembanyama will trade a 3-and-D wing that'll be somewhat meaningful. But unless they can do that, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if I could even see the Lakers making the top six in the West. I think they're going to be a play-in team at best, watching what we saw last night. Look, LeBron and AD could go nuts, but outside of those guys, how are they going to score? This offense looked atrocious outside of those guys. I mean, they were when they didn't score, it was a lot of pass around, brick wide open threes. I think they shot something like 43s and shot abysmal from the field. I mean, it's going to be really hard to manufacture offense. A lot is going to be on AD and LeBron's shoulders. And at this stage in LeBron's career and at AD's career, really they need to be resting more often than they're going to be able to this year, so that they can keep them fresh for the playoffs. It just seems like a recipe for disaster. On the flip side, let's go to the team that actually looked like a competent team last night, the Warriors. Look, I think my big takeaway from this game is I didn't think the Warriors played well at all, and yet they still won this game by 14. They were up by 25 in the third quarter. They looked like they were kind of sleepwalking for a little bit, and they went and won one of those Warriors avalanche runs, and they just kind of completely took this game over. This team is loaded, even though they lost the Otto Porters and Gary Payton juniors and stuff of the world. They're still absolutely loaded. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo was the eighth man for the team last night, and he was a starter for the Milwaukee Bucks championship run. And I know DiVincenzo was hurt for that championship run, but him being an eighth man, you have Kaminga and Moody who are ninth, 10th man on this roster. James Wiseman looked relatively competent. I mean, for all things considered, everyone was labeling him a bust. He looked decent. He had some good plays. This team's loaded. Um, you have, of course, that the head of the snake is Steph Curry. Klay Thompson went on the stretch in the third quarter where he just looked unconscious for a little bit, hitting a couple jumpers, a 3-pointer, and went on one of those mini Klay uh, runs in the middle of the third quarter. The defense looks good with Andrew Wiggins. I mean, you've got guys that are bought in. Jordan Poole doesn't have a great shooting night, but he's a great distributor and he's got great movement off the ball. This team is absolutely loaded. And in a game where they had 18 turnovers, they only shot 35% from three, they still won by 14 against the Lakers and didn't look all that uncomfortable at any point in this game. Um, Now, I think the bigger story, though, for the Warriors, and I think what may make it more difficult for them to repeat is the chemistry issues that they're gonna face this year. And I know this team's been together for a long period of time, but this issue with Draymond seems like it could really seep into the ether with this team that it can cause some problems really. I mean, Draymond is weirdly this weird interaction with LeBron at the end of the game where LeBron's on the court, he's dapping up Draymond who's on the bench. The Warriors bench doesn't seem too thrilled about that. The Draymond Poole thing, they never really seem to like have any real interactions throughout the game. I mean, yeah, they pass it to each other when they're on the court, but I think there's gonna be some. I think there's maybe a little bit of tension there. Draymond kind of did a pseudo half apology, and I think the Warriors are gonna face a pseudo crossroads here. I mean, is Draymond, who's been so integral of four championship teams now, has he kind of expired as the person that they need at the middle of the Warriors dynasty? I mean, he's driven out a couple of free agents now. KD's I mean Jordan Poole just re-signed, but are the Warriors basically saying, hey, we're taking Poole over Green at this point? Are they gonna have to make a move? Is Green gonna be happy being the guy that's not gonna get paid? I don't know. I think there's smoke there. I think there's and where there's smoke, there's fire. There could be real issues with this. I know Draymond's been a great team guy for many years, but the fact of the matter is if he's not going to get paid, is he going to be okay with that? And if he sees all these other guys around him, the Jordan Pooles of the world getting 4 years, $140 million, how is Draymond going to react to that? And we already saw it boil over in the practice where he punches Jordan Poole unprovoked. Like it seems to be a real problem. I know Steph and Clay and Draymond have been there for the entirety, but it seems like the Warriors may have to make a decision. Either do we trade him, do we just let it play out and hope it doesn't poison the well too much? But that's gonna be a problem, and I can see that being one of the bigger issues and why this team wouldn't repeat. I mean, they've got the talent everywhere. They've got the young guys in Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody, who I think are ready to take another step and be integral rotation pieces. And who knows? I mean, those guys are super talented. Maybe they make even bigger steps and warrant starter minutes at some point. But chemistry is a real thing in the NBA, and if you don't have good chemistry, that can cause issues. And if this Draymond issue starts to poison the well and hurts the chemistry on the team, then the Warriors, who won because they played so much as a cohesive unit last year, all of a sudden, if that's a little bit less, it's only 90% of what it was last year. Does that cost them at the end of the day? And so I think that's something to look for. They looked great otherwise, on a day that they didn't weren't really clicking on all cylinders, they still won handily. And so I think that's a testament to how good this team can be and probably will be throughout the season. But it'll just be interesting to see what happens with Draymond. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the opening night as much as I did. I know it was great to see the NBA back. I'm going to be talking a lot more about NBA on this channel. I love the NBA. It's my favorite sport, favorite league. So feel free to like, subscribe. I'd love for you guys to come back and watch, and we'll be talking plenty more NBA throughout the season. Thanks for the time, guys. See y'all later.